Today's special guest grew up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, played college sports here in the US, and now coaches soccer here in Missouri. He has his own soccer podcast as well, the 90 Plus One podcast. Nick Luciani, welcome to the show. Did I say that correct, Luciani?
You did, dude. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the quick plug as well. That's awesome, man.
Of course. Of course. How you been, man?
Dude, been good. Busy, man. Life is busy. I thought getting into the coaching space would be a little more relaxed than playing, but apparently not. So yeah, just always going.
Really? You would think it would be, right? You would think it'd be a little more chill, but I guess not, huh?
I mean, I was hoping that it would be at least, but yeah, it's just like it doesn't stop, man. It's good though. It's good to be busy.
So is it like you have your own squad, or is it more of an individual training that
A little bit of
that you're
both.
doing?
So I kind of do a little bit so obviously with MoBap, I coach at Missouri Baptist right now as a grad assistant, and like I'm an assistant coach there. So I do everything from goalkeeper stuff, training to regular coaching with the head coach, just kind of like I'm at his side whenever he needs, kind of just whatever duties that is, usually like recruiting and stuff, just more like that. He plans most of the sessions, but I get to play my goalkeeper sessions. Then I do some club stuff with LaFuse, big club here in the city, St. Louis. I was just doing goalie stuff there. I was purely a goalkeeper coach on staff. And then this spring, I was given two teams. So now I'm
Nice.
doing goalkeeper coaching, private coaching, two teams plus MoBap. It's life is busy.
That's awesome though, bro. That's awesome. We got to start it from the beginning. Tell us about growing up in Toronto.
That's a good question, dude. Where to start? Um, no, growing up in Toronto was awesome, man. In terms of being a soccer player, it was probably, if we're looking at Canada as a whole, it was probably the best place to grow up. Just opportunity wise, there was tons of youth clubs. The MLS team was there pretty early on to give that opportunity, and just high level coaching. Growing up there was great. I was played all kinds of sports, fell to soccer. It was just my first love. And to be honest, I played hockey for just almost as long as I did play soccer until I like really focused on it. Wasn't good enough for hockey, man. I was never a good enough player to be to go on with hockey. There was too many kids that wanted to do it as well that were all way better, took it more serious. So for me, my passion was soccer, and I kind of just ran with it from there.
Did you? Because I know you played at Culver Stockton here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I have a good friend that went there, and I think you might know him, Brock Davis.
Oh
We
yeah,
might
yeah,
have
yeah.
talked about this. I don't know if we've
Yeah,
talked about
man.
this. Um, but did you go anywhere before Culver Stockton, or was it just a straight move there?
Straight move, man. I know it's weird. It's a small school.
Yeah.
What's a Canadian guy from the city doing there? But a funny story, man. Like college sports in Canada are basically like a joke. Um,
Hmm.
I did some like, open ID camps and whatever you want to say, tryouts and stuff. Coaches were bringing players out to kind of, see who they liked, and just like talking to the coaches there. Not that they weren't serious, but probably 90% of those coaches are all part-time. So they were all teachers, lawyers, some sort of professional in another realm. And this was just a side gig for them. So it was hard for them to commit full-time to a team. It's changed a little bit, but it was all part-time playing. Like even in season, you're training like 2 or 3 times a week, which I thought was absurd.
Yeah.
Um, Scholarships weren't really a thing. And just like the hype around US sports was just always there when
For
being
sure.
from Canada. And like it was just something I wanted to go after. So yeah, Culver found me. I took a gap year between graduating high school and coming to college. So I was like almost 20 years old when I ended up going to college as a freshman.
Okay.
Um, Culver, I probably shouldn't say this, but now I'm a couple years out, was like my last choice, like a backup. So
Hmm.
early on in my recruiting, they reached out, they found me. I was playing with an academy. We did lots of traveling down in the US, and I guess they spotted me somewhere. Um, they offered me early on, but I was waiting for other offers. My academy coach said, wait for other offers, don't jump. So like
Yeah.
I committed to Culver Stockton in like May. right before my freshman year. So like
Wow.
3 months before preseason. Like it was as late could be.
Hmm.
Um, Other scholarships got pulled from teams. Just like coaches weren't really feeling it anymore, I guess. A lot of times it
Yeah.
was just like we found a keeper from France or Ireland, which I was like, fair enough. And yeah, I ended up at Culver, man.
Uh, where were the other offers at? Were they around the area? Were they all over the U.S.?
I a lot of East Coast schools. Actually, my offer that I was really intrigued by was Grandview University. They were in Culver's conference in
Okay.
Des Moines. They were offering quite
Hmm.
a bit, and then he cut it in half because this Irish kid was coming in. So that happened. I had like two D1 offers that were like super crap, like New Jersey Institute of Technology, and like I don't even know what they were. I don't even remember what they were offering me. And then New Hampshire, but New Hampshire was like offering me like a preferred walk on spot.
I gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
I had some D2 schools in like New York City and around that area, tons of junior colleges like down in like Carolinas, yeah, New York, Michigan, stuff like that. Culver, again, like I hate saying this, but they offered the money. So I had to
Yeah,
go. I'm a Canadian boy. I have the exchange rate that I had to worry about. I had to go where the money
for
was.
sure. For sure. Speaking of more of on a positional side here, has goalkeeper always been the route for you?
No, no, I was a outfield player for a long time. I think
Okay.
I became a goalkeeper at like 13 or 14 years old.
Nice.
Um, I'd like to say that goalkeeping was like this rebellious side of me because I wanted to be a hockey goalie originally. My two older brothers
Okay.
were, and my dad basically like said no. He's like, if I'm gonna have all three of my boys play, I need a player in the family, and I'm the youngest, so I kind of just got thrown into being a player. I got older. I'm like, oh, I'll rebel and I'll be a soccer goalie. And then I ended up like just trying it out because playing was like fun, but I don't know. I guess I don't even remember. It just was something fun that I wanted to give it a shot. And I ended up doing decent at it. Got offered a chance to play with like my local team. And yeah, I just stuck with it from there.
I kind of want to reach a little bit more of the coaching side in a second.
Yeah.
But I guess one more thing to kind of bounce off with the playing side. What advice or lesson have you learned in your playing career? I know
Hmm.
it's been a couple of years now for you, but what advice would you give to some young player out there right now? I mean, you
um,
obviously work with them, so I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I give two pieces of advice to my college girls, and then I coach middle school boys, so I don't really give it to them and girls, but to my high school keepers that I coach as well, like privately. Um, my two biggest pieces of advice are first, play as long as you have passion for it. So as long as you feel like you can give something to the game and you're feeling like there's like an urge to play and a fulfillment through it, just continue to do it because there's always life after sport,
Mhm.
and it comes around. So there's no need to rush into that. That's what I find with some of the girls right now at college. Like, I have to get this job. I have this great offer. I'm like, you're 21 years old. Play if you want to play for a little longer. Who cares? You're going to be maybe 22, 23 when you burn out and like you have your whole life ahead of you. Just don't
Yeah.
jump into anything. Enjoy playing. Second, if I'm looking at players who are trying to continue to reach higher levels, um, go somewhere that you're valued, go somewhere that will let you play. So don't go to like the best high school and best club or best D1 school just because if there's a title there, because you might just sit on the bench. So my
Yeah.
best piece of advice is to find the value in a team. Culver actually was a blessing in disguise because I played 3.5 of my 4 years there. It developed me as a keeper and let me play after college, which was a bonus for me. So yeah, and without that, if I went to, one of those D1 or D2 schools and sat on the bench for 2 or 3 years, my development wouldn't have
Mhm.
happened and I would have been done. So yeah, those are the two pieces of advice for sure.
You know what I find interesting is that we've had a couple guests that said that the same thing is like the talent level. Everybody thinks D1, and obviously they're the best of the best majority of the time. But the NAIA D3, D2 level, I mean, all of them are that they're studs everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, to an example of my playing career was I played a season in USL 2 and I came up and I had like University of Evansville, University of Wisconsin, and Notre Dame were the three keepers, and then me. were the four keepers on the team, and I played over all three of them purely because
Damn.
I had a longer playing career than them. They were all just stepping into like first year at the college level or second, where I already had 4 years under me, and it just matured me as a player. That was what helped so much playing 4 years in a row.
Hmm. I've talked about this also. I don't know how to get those division or those levels more recognition. I would say like I think the NIL is going to be phenomenal
Yeah.
for these college guys and girls to kind of make a name for themselves even more.
Yeah, I think so. There's got to be some sort of platform that can put these players like in the limelight because they deserve it. Even if you look at the professional leagues here in the US, there are Division 2, 3 NAI players in that and D1 players that burnt out. So, yeah, they're not it's if you're not don't go D1, you shouldn't be discouraged. That's for sure.
I like that. On a kind of random note here, did I see recently you ran like a half marathon or
Yes, yes,
some
I
sort?
did. Yeah.
Where did that ambition come from?
My competitive nature is still in me as an athlete, and I needed to find something to work towards. And I
I
was like, well,
gotcha.
I can run ish. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you have any plans going forward with that marathon possibly down the line?
Yeah, I think St. Louis Marathon next year, maybe another one or two
Oh,
half ones this year. And then I've set like an internal goal with myself, whether I go through with it. I hope I do. I hope I like my life doesn't get too crazy. But I like to like in the next 4 or 5 years to do like an Ironman or work towards that, like do a triathlon.
oh.
Yeah.
So were you pretty pleased with this first outcome here?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, very pleased.
Nice.
It was much better time than I thought. I was able to stick it out. No, didn't walk the whole way. I think I did like an hour. I was holding like a 7 minute 30 pace, 7 minute 40 pace.
Wow.
So yeah, I was really happy with it considering like during my runs prior, I was holding like an 8 to 8:30 pace. So I like
M-
shaved a minute, but it's the
Maybe
whole
the adrenaline
environment,
going. Yeah.
the adrenaline, the environment, everything gets you going. So I have to give it to the whole like the race itself.
I mean, I've never done something like that. I ran like maybe a couple 5Ks as a kid,
Yeah.
but like when's that wall hit for you? Did you reach a point where you were like, I got to push through this, or when was that?
Yeah, like mile 10. I
Okay.
think what hit me first, I went out way too fast. I was just like, I was trying to keep pace with all like the guys who are
Yeah.
legit. And we hit this hill and it shot my legs. And I felt some pains going to my legs I've never felt before. And I'm like, oh, I'm 3 miles away. I got to push it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Um, More on the soccer side now. What experiences through your playing career have you gotten that made you want to coach? So I'm a guy that played college basketball myself, and I'm going into the coaching um,
Nice.
positions now that
Nice.
life's starting to pick up as not a
Yeah.
college student very
Yeah.
much longer. But playing now for you, what made you want to go into coaching?
I think there was always a bit of a desire in me internally to coach. I had a few coaches growing up as a youth player that really influenced me and like made a huge impact on me as a player and kind of made me want to go on, like play as much as I can. They just instilled confidence in me that I never thought I had. There's
Mhm.
also the other side where I had a good handful of coaches that I thought were brutal. And I almost wanted to try and have like give an opportunity to younger kids who were my experience. They weren't the best player. I wasn't nationally recruited. I wasn't a national team player, nothing like that. I just had to work hard and I needed someone to believe in me. And I want to be able to give that belief to players as well. The ones who go under the radar, but like those diamonds in the rough that people aren't recognizing, just to allow to play as long as possible. And I think I always had that in my mind. Like when I was done playing, I want to coach. Also because I originally was going to go to school for teaching. So I think that kind of like this lets me kind of do both things. I don't think teaching's really in the cards anymore. I love
Uh-huh.
coaching too much,
Yeah.
but it allows me to still kind of have like be in that environment. But yeah, more than anything is just influence players like coaches influenced me.
That's very good because like I'm almost the same way as like I've had tremendous coaches in my whole career as a player, but I've always had
Mm.
that passion for people that I really want to I'm in the process of talking to coaches right now and like
Oh,
trying to get
yeah.
positions and on staffs and I'm kind of telling them I want to be that impact on, for me, basketball on the court, but also be that uh, guy for them off the court that they can kind of rely on. High schoolers,
Yeah.
level, middle school, like they go, it's not an easy life. Like there's a lot of
No.
changes in their personal life. And so
Yeah.
being that person is huge.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's just I think kids need it. I think the role of coaching is has such a big much like an impact on players that we don't realize. And you need more coaches who want to do it for the purpose of like giving back to the player than it is for having the title of being this big time coach, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I get more of a buzz off my players doing well than I do like coaching this great team. I just want my player like when my player starts to develop, like if my keepers 6 months ago to now, like I've seen an improvement. It makes me more excited for them.
Yeah. Yep. I couldn't agree more. Speaking off that, down the line, do you prefer to coach your own squad, or do you prefer like the? I know you're doing a little bit of both right now, but do you prefer
Yeah.
to be more of a personal trainer, or what do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough little decision to make. Obviously, if you go individual, you go like more of a that private coaching life. Financially, it's probably you can make a lot more money at a like at a quicker rate, but it's also the stability of it. Like how long can you stay stable? Your players grow up. Do they refer you or not? Where do I find more? How do I continue to grow my name? Right. Obviously, social media is a big thing, but I'm getting a lot of my players right now through the club scene and through the college scene because people have seen who I am, or they ask a coach and I get referred through that. Right now, I really love the college game, and I think my ambitions is to be a college coach and maybe at some point be a professional coach. Um, I would love to like work for my national team. That would like probably be like the ultimate goal, the overall goal at any level, like even U15s, but just like represent Canada as a coach would be awesome. I think private coaching will always be there. It's a bit of a different kind of ball game there. I enjoy working with a keeper themselves. I get to put a lot more focus if I do one-on-ones or like two-on-one sessions and work on their development. Where in a team setting, I hope that I already have a strong keeper or keepers, and I'm more just preparing them for that week's game. We're going over tactics where our sessions are built around who our opponent is, not who they are as a keeper. So in a team setting, I can't have keepers that are still needing to develop because I have to rely on the best person for the job because I need them to go a step further now. Like I need them to be ready for the game. I need to them understand our opponents, our style of play, where at private coaching, and a lot of it's younger keepers I do the privates for, I get to
Mhm.
develop them as keepers. Then it's their coach's decision to do what they want with them. So it's kind of the best of both worlds right now. I think I'm going to stay in the team game realistically. Like if I could be a college coach for the next 25, 30 years, that'd be amazing. And I
Yeah,
would still be happy with that.
it's a grind. Like it's really, I met with my college basketball coach recently, the last few weeks here, and we discussed how I was kind of trying to get some advice from him on how to get into that field, and he was saying it's a grind, it's a hustle. Like it's not you're going to be maybe struggling, but it's going to
Yeah,
pay off if you keep grinding at it.
that's what it is right now, man. I realize it is like you've got to build a name. You want people to just trust you, obviously. You want people to give you a shot as a young, ambitious
Mhm.
coach.
For
But I
sure.
understand that at the college game, it's more than just winning. It's retention rates. It's how can you have to really watch over a team and understand it. I still don't understand the college game fully. Like I'm still learning the business side of things in terms of how do we budget for a player and how do we recruit and how
Mhm.
do I keep my players, retentions and stuff like that. It's a big grind. I hope it pays off. It's a really cool life. It's also not the most glamorous at times, like you're learning from your past coach. And
Yes.
I have a girlfriend who I don't get to see a lot because our hours are offsetting from each other, which is unfortunate. But
Mhm.
at least I can say right now, at this point in my life, I can wake up every day and say I love what I do, which not a lot of people
For
get
sure.
to say.
No, that's absolutely amazing. And this could be more on the playing career or coaching career. But what is something soccer has taught you? Because I'm a huge believer sports can teach you so many things about life and
Oh,
people and different cultures and whatever it is. What is something soccer has taught you that you may have not learned outside of sports?
yeah. Soccer, what is was my life, will continue to be my life. It's all really I ever known. I think it's my identity realistically. And what it's taught me, the biggest thing it's taught me is um not to like always seek like instant gratification. So especially with like smartphones and that and social media, like instant gratification
Yeah.
um is a huge thing that people struggle with. It's taught me that, just try like if you have a goal long term or whatever, as long as you work at it, eventually you get there.
Hmm.
Um I was a really, really weak soccer player for a long, long time. Even going into high school, I was a very weak player and I had to keep training at it and I had to work at it and I had to continue to be upset with being not the greatest and other keepers being better and being told no more than I was told yes. And as I worked at it and worked at it, things worked out, right? I got a good scholarship. I went to a school that I ended up really loving. I met lifelong friends. I got my girlfriend out of it. I got to play professionally after, like all of these things that I never thought were even I could dream of. It taught me that you can, patience probably, patience and
I was about
maturity
to
are the
say
two things
patience. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it taught me the most of. And that's definitely going to help me in this next stage of life.
I love that. The guest last week that we had, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, she played Division 3 soccer, and her name was Viviani. She's from Brazil, but she was saying leadership and kind of being that role model for you have to be on practice early for your players, but also I don't know that whole aspect. So I guess it's not the same thing, but that's another lesson that you could
But
learn.
yeah, that's probably another one that I could take away from. I mean, leadership and responsibility, like
Yeah.
practice at this time. Well, we show up early for practice.
Hmm.
We stayed after practice to keep working. Just, being able to walk. The biggest thing I could say as well is that I was able to walk off the field after a game, and me and a handful of my teammates were able to say, that game we lost because it was on us because we didn't show up. So I never put blame on other people when things don't go my way because it's, if you can only control the controllables and everything else you just have to try and deal with. And,
Hmm.
winning a game is in, in the grand scheme of things is a controllable that you can try and control. And I learned that you don't put things off on other people. You don't blame people for your own
Hmm.
mistakes. And that's where
Nice.
that's a big thing that I try and instill on these younger players because you see it a lot right now.
I was
Um,
about to say that's a tremendous lesson to learn for your career now as a coach. I mean,
it's
it's
huge.
phenomenal.
It's huge. I mean, the amount of times that we hear players that say, "Oh, well, we could
Mhm.
have, but this and but that." There's no buts, especially in sports. It's not a but. It's just you
Yeah,
did or you didn't. That's the reality. The hardest
for
worker,
sure.
right? The hardest worker wins. The hardest worker has the most talent usually, like whatever it is. But yeah, those are the leadership one's great. I wish I thought of
Yeah.
that.
So, I know you um, a little bit off this just us filming here. Like I know a little bit about you. And you know a little bit about how I have an ambition to maybe possibly move up to Canada one day. And
Yeah.
a lot of people here take a lot of pride in being from the US. A lot
Oh
of
yeah.
people take a lot of pride from that.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not one of those people, but I there's some people that are very prideful in that.
Yeah.
Are you somebody that takes a lot of pride in where you're from?
Yeah, I am extremely proud to be Canadian. Um, I think me actually moving to the US made me even more patriotic and more proud to be from where I'm from. Not because of the people that I've met here, but
Yeah.
just I think that you see small differences in, societies, communities, whatever it is, and just genuine the interactions you have that make you proud to be like the Canadians are too nice and Canadians are too polite are the two best compliments I can get. To me, it's not insulting. I grew up in a family that's you show respect, you get respect. So, and yes, Canadians are genuinely supposed to be, I guess, more respectful and nicer than others. But for me, that's a test of character.
For sure.
Um, and I'm proud to be that Canadians are known like that. Whether
Mhm.
people want to insult us or not, that's fine. I'm okay with being a little bit soft, but
Yeah.
um, if I wasn't proud of where I was from, I feel like I wouldn't be at this point in my life right now. I think it just being the adversity, like being Canadian in the US is not like that controversial, and it's not like that big
Hmm.
of a difference than being from like
Hmm.
England or something like
Yeah.
this. But I was someone different. You're from this new you're from a different country in a new space. And it again, another thing that just taught me to be an adult quicker, mature quicker. And yeah,
Nice.
I love being Canadian. I love when I get the chance to go back home. Um, all my best friends are still from there as well. Like, yeah, great place. I hope that you get to move up there, man. It's a great
I
country.
hope so too, man. Do you plan on maybe the future going back?
I would love to. I would love to. I think if the right and me and my girlfriend have spoken, like she's realistically the one. Like that's going to be the one that she's going to go through life with me. So
Nice.
she knows my career ambitions. Um, she knows that there is a opportunity that going back to Canada could be a thing, and she's fine with that.
Hmm.
Um, right now at this point in life, the US is offering a lot more to me in terms of being a full-time coach, which is something that
Yeah.
I'm not ready to just give up because I'm too young. I've just started it. Maybe in 7, 8 years from now, nothing's really progressed and I don't see the opportunities. Maybe I find something back home. But as of now, I stay here. Again, if I get a national team opportunity,
Yeah.
or if the university sports take off, or club soccer takes off up there and there's that full-time gig available, I would love to give it a shot. It's growing slowly up there. There's
Hmm.
new men's professional league that's only like 5 years old now. There's a new women's league that's going to be here in the next year. So
Nice.
there's more opportunities there, which is only going to build the youth game up. And that's kind of your bread and butter. That's where you get, more opportunities to be a full-time coach, and you kind of work up from that.
Nice. I know basketball's on the come up too up there. That gives me hope
Yeah,
for a
huge.
potential move.
No, huge, man, huge. There's especially Toronto area, tons of basketball players, tons of basketball clubs, um, even prep schools. Like Jamal Murray came out of a prep school called Orangeville Prep, which was
Hmm.
I think that's like 50 minutes from where I grew up. So like it's in
Wow.
that general greater Toronto area. Lots of opportunities like that. Full-time youth sports and full-time coaching is definitely going to be more prevalent in the coming years, which is very exciting for guys like us.
Definitely. I have, and I didn't mention this to you, but I don't know if you've listened to any other of our interviews here. We like to do some rapid questions
Mhm.
before the interview wraps up here. So I got five questions for you here. First thing that comes
Sweet.
off the top of your head.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of thought to them, just real quick.
Okay.
Um, are you a cold weather or a warm weather guy?
Warm weather. Controversial as a Canadian.
Definitely controversial. I'm definitely a cold weather guy for sure. What's your one must eat spot in Toronto?
Ooh, there's this place called Pete's on Eglinton. It's by my dad's work, so it's just on the outskirts of Toronto in Mississauga. It's like this Greek food style place, so you get like chicken souvlaki and stuff, but the portions you pay like I don't know, like $15 for a Slovakia dinner, but I swear to you, like the plate's the size of my head and it's stacked about a foot high. Like it's the great best food ever. And then you get food for like the next 3 days.
That's nice. All right. Well, I'm going up there this summer,
Dude,
so I'm gonna have to
check
check
it
it
out.
out.
Yeah, best time to go as well. Canada is beautiful in the summer.
Right on. Are you a text or a phone call type of guy?
I'm a text kind of guy.
I am too. Okay, I like it. What has been your favorite age in your life so far?
My college years.
Okay. Any particular year of those?
Probably like that 20 to 22, 23. Just
Okay.
start to kind of understand who I was a bit more, understand my ambitions in life, and just kind of, just wrap your head around life a little bit more. There's a lot of questions that you have, and sometimes they don't get answered.
Hmm.
Um, so I just found like that was a time again, like to attest to Culver and, being there away from home as I matured, like, yeah, that time of my life was the best. I was really starting to like kind of grow into my own skin. I was a bit of a follower as a younger guy. I was a lot shyer and stuff like that. Just kind of went with the flow. So I finally kind of broke away from that kind of thing and started to kind of just be my own person. It's very cliche to say.
Well, I can't agree more. Those 4 years, I have grown as a person that I'm not even the same person at all as I was in high school.
No, yeah,
That's why I
not at
want to
all.
coach college, is because I
Right?
want to have that impact on people that are going through those big life changes.
Yeah.
Um, my last one here. Um, Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs make it out of the first round.
Oh man, I say yes every year, but they continue to do this. I don't know. If we get I mean, it's inevitable to get Tampa or the
Yes.
Bruins, so probably not until one of them don't make the playoffs. No.
Hmm.
Oh, dude.
I like your guys' chances this year. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't.
we
I
look
think Tampa's come down a little bit.
Tampa's kind of tapered off. The Bruins are hot, but we don't like I don't know, man. It's a scary time to be elite. It's always a scary time to be a Leafs fan.
Hmm.
We keep saying that yes, they're gonna make it. And the last few years they've done a little bit better and somehow they figure out a way. I don't know what it is. There's gotta be some sort of curse.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then to wrap it up, man, we've kind of talked about it pretty much the whole interview here. But what's next for Nick Luciani?
What is next? The next thing for Nick Luciani is to first get through his last year of graduate school so that he can finally be done with school for the rest of his life, because I have no ambitions to do it after this. I would love to get a full-time coaching gig, whether it's if it's going to be in a youth club. I would love to be like a goalkeeping director or something like that, like really hone. I love the game as a whole. Um, I love goalkeeping as like separately from the game. I feel like I can give a lot of value from it because I kind of like I'm a student of the game, but I'm a student as a goalkeeper. I'm always wanting to just understand the position more. It continues to evolve as the game does. A director of goalkeeping role would be awesome. The realistic goal is to be a full-time coach, and I have no ambitions after school. I'm going to be 27 when I graduate. Um, I don't need to be a head coach yet at 27. If it's presented, awesome. I'll give it a shot, but I don't feel like I've learned enough. Just step into a full-time role at a college and really start that career. I'm very excited for that next chapter. Hopefully still get to do goalkeeping stuff, but if I have to put that to the side to become a full-time assistant or a full-time head coach, I'm happy to do that as well.
Nick, you're a great guest. You got a great head on your shoulders. We can't, or I can't thank you. Zach, I wish he was here. But we can't thank you enough for joining us. And
Yeah.
obviously best of luck moving forward here, my man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I know we've been trying to get this done. You guys are doing a great thing. Your social media is what I follow and you guys kill it. I love it. No, I wish you guys the best. And like always, man, like stuff with Canada, keep hitting me up. Maybe we're gonna be there at the same time in the summer too, because I'm going back for a bit. So let me know. I'll show you around. Um, Hopefully you guys are doing this for years to come. So in a few years, when our careers have moved on, we can rekindle for
That'd be amazing.
a second episode and kind of just reminisce back.